Be honest. Exactly how long have you been procrastinating for? I'm not here to judge. I'm a procrastination machine. The queen's gambit, the master, the pioneer, the head. Did I procrastinate while writing this? Yes. Hey Siri, Google why humans procrastinate. We'll get back to that later. For the past few years, I've been deep in the trenches of research, consuming every podcast, dissecting countless YouTube videos, and studying strategies from the best in the business. I've distilled all this knowledge into a Excel sheet. Every tip, trick, and technique organized, categorized, and ready to go. But here's the thing. Despite having all of that knowledge, despite knowing the ins and outs of marketing psychology, I hesitated. I was scared to fail. And here I am, 5 years later, finally pressing publish. And this is where this challenge comes in. I'm putting everything I've learned to the test right here, right now. And I'm bringing you along for the journey with me. Not just to navigate my successes, but to see how I do with the failures too. And most of all, to help you with starting your own YouTube channel journey as well. Step 1 is goal setting. Have you ever woken up depressed because your page isn't growing, you're not getting as many views as you want, and you're not seeing any success at all? But growing to where when you haven't even written down what exactly the goal is? What are the numbers? I have the goal of achieving 100,000 subscribers in a year. But for this video, I only want to achieve 11 subscribers. So, please subscribe. Where did these goals come from? I'm using the SMART framework. And for those of you who don't know, this is what SMART stands for. One of the things that I really want to pay attention to here is realistic. For me, 11 subscribers was a realistic and achievable goal that I can work towards. And I made sure that all of my goals were incremental. And that's what you need to do for yourself. Here's the part of the script where I was going to invite some YouTube friends so I can ask them advice, their goals, and all of the things like that. But I don't actually have any friends, so next scene. Step 2, audience research. The other reason you might not be growing is because YouTube doesn't know who exactly you're creating content for. I've been very specific about my target audience since I was a little girl. I'm targeting women, specifically multi-ethnic women. All my sisters out there who don't know what they're doing but also want to do many things but also love many passions and succeeding in all of it somehow helps. You guys, that's who I'm speaking to. And you need to know exactly who you're targeting. This can look like actually categorizing in each step what channels do these people watch, their desires, their passions, their likes, and breaking down those people into different categories. Although I am targeting multi-ethnic women, I still have kind of few segments of my audience, and that Google sheet I spoke about, that's where I put this information into. I also have psychological triggers. Where are they spending most of their time? How can I be of value? Because how do you know if the content that you're creating is actually going to resonate if you have no idea who you're speaking for? If you're creating for yourself, that's great. You're gonna watch your videos and you'll probably enjoy them, have a good, jolly old time. But if you want to create for other people, then you really need to spend that time researching, getting to know them, and most of all, breaking up all those little pieces of information into smaller, manageable little steps. Comment below if you'd like me to do a deep dive into audience research tools in a later video. Step 3 is breaking those goals that we talked about into smaller manageable goals, because a lot of the times when you have that big number, that $100,000, $10,000 in your mind, it's always hard for you to achieve it. So for example, if you do want to make $10,000, what are you supposed to make this month? Tomorrow? How are you going to get to that goal? And for me, I need you to actually accurately calculate how to reach 100,000 subscribers to 11 subscribers. And hold up, I need to go get some help. Choosing the right format. Format 1, the challenge video. This one is a perfect example. The challenge video is all about taking a searchable topic or a trend and making it and wrapping it up in a challenge that your viewers can watch you undertake. It's engaging because it's real, it's happening in the moment. And people love to see things happening because there's a chance of success or failure. Like me possibly failing at this YouTube dream of mine, but we move. But let's weigh the pros and cons. On the pro side, challenge videos are highly engaging. These tap into the psychological effect called the Zeigarnik effect. This effect means that as humans, we are more likely to remember and engage with things that are incomplete or leave us hanging. That's why viewers will stick around, because they want to know whether you're going to succeed or fail. They want to see you complete the task. On the con side, challenge videos are time consuming, and if not done right, they might not provide the viewer with the value that they're looking for. Listen, we know we've spent hours recording this one video, and it also took a few days to actually script. So that we made sure that the video was packed with as much value as we could provide. But that doesn't even matter if you don't click on the video, which brings me to talking about the most important thing of all, the thumbnail. The thumbnail is the most crucial part of this process. If you don't get clicks, ain't nobody watching, ain't no views, ain't no subscriber goal. Like, you're doing nothing. And this is one of my favorite creators when it comes to their thumbnails. I recently discovered them and I have been clicking on everything they're creating. Firstly, you need to look at how they're playing off their thumbnail to their title. Do not repeat the same thing that you've already put in your title in your thumbnail. You're wasting space. It's all marketing. When you look at their sequels, originality, never heard of her, and then in the thumbnail they have sequels. When you look who's doing better than you, in the thumbnail they have everyone. Whatever question you pose in your title, make sure that your thumbnail is answering that question. And then extra points if you can actually make sure that your audience has another question that makes them click into the video. The first video I discovered from David Achu is a video that is titled "You're Not Crazy, Being a Small Creator is Hard, Duh." And then he has day 1, which is 3 views, and year 2, which has 8 views. This title and thumbnail combination actually opened up more questions in my brains, because I'm like, why does he have 8 views in year 2? What's going on? That is what the curiosity gap is all about. You need to make sure that your audience still has a question that they have to click to have answered. And if you don't do that with your thumbnail, then baby, how are you supposed to get subscribers? How are you supposed to get views? Your thumbnail is so important. You need to do this before you create content, before you do a format, before you do anything else. Make sure that your marketing is correct. Now let's get back to formats. Format 2 is the list. Ali Abdul, a famous YouTuber, swears by lists, and he's not wrong. On the pro side, lists are highly searchable and they always answer a very specific question. For example, here are 5 tips to growing a YouTube channel. This is a very easy to do, engaging and fast topic to get into. There's less research involved and it's also less time consuming, like us actually having to put a camera in an oven. It takes so much less time to put together a list, and more than that, they're highly shareable. Here's a secret. Instagram loves shareable content. So consider lists. What are people who you are trying to target searching for? What are the topics that they're interested in? Could it be top 5 women who are successful in neuroscience? Could it be top 5 music videos, top 5 movies you need to watch? Check out Zende Isa and his series where he's covering African films that you should watch. Psychologically, lists tap into our brain's love for simplicity and organization. They also provide us with a clear sense of completion. I know I'm not the only one who actually loves doing tasks simply for having the action of actually getting to tick it off. I need to tick it off. On the con side, lists can be a bit predictable. If not done creatively, you're not going to be able to stand out in a sea of similar content. Format 3, the video essay. This is the chance to slow things down a little bit, because who doesn't love a well-researched deep dive that talks about their favorite topics or creators? You also have the chance to coincide these things with big drops or events, making sure that your topic is aligned with trending content. Pros. Video essays provide depth and nuance. They give you a chance to showcase your expertise while also building a loyalty and engagement with you and your audience, because you're taking the time to actually explain complex subjects to them in a way that they would understand. This really taps into that closeness we feel with our favorite teachers. The people who are taking this knowledge that you might not have known before, but now you actually can understand in a way that you might also be able to explain to the next person. The con of this, however, is they're even more time consuming. You spend a significant amount of time doing research and scripting. But if you do it well, you're rewarded with that feeling and love of sharing knowledge and also building a community of people who are coming together to teach, research, and learn new things. Step 5. It's time to create the actual content. Please do it in this order. Title and thumbnail first. You need to focus on opening the curiosity gap, which means that your title and your thumbnail should be actually providing a question while answering another question that people need to click on so that they can watch. I know that's a lot, and we can tap into that in another video, but this is super important. Do not write your script before you know what your title and thumbnail are, because if people don't click, people don't watch your video, and then you're wasting your time. So title and thumbnail. The second step is hook. The next thing is writing your script, and then you can actually start filming. When you're filming, make sure that you're speaking loudly. People can actually really deal with bad quality in terms of like video, but not so much your audio. So clear audio is everything. And then edit, repeat, and do the process all over again. Remember, title, thumbnail, hook, film, edit, other steps, scripting. Listen, repeat. repeat. And yes, this is the process that I'm dedicating myself to do for the rest of my life. Do I really want to be a YouTuber? I don't know. Now, full circle, all the way back to procrastination. Why might you still feel reluctant to press publish despite my well-established strategy? Well, the first one is fear of failure. Fear of failure is very real for people, and this is the most significant effect on us when it comes to procrastination. Your mind is actually trying to save you from that big thing that could happen when you face loss. And for a lot of us, especially when you're coming from an African country, this doesn't just mean that you're scared of feeling embarrassed on the world stage. For a lot of us, we're actually scared of losing very real things that may be tied to our livelihoods. I know for me that I've been faced with poverty my whole life, from being homeless to literally seeing everything I've ever owned out on the streets and having no idea where I'm going to sleep or where food is going to come through and what the next plan is going to be for my life. And starting this YouTube channel was so scary for me because somehow my mind thought by sharing myself, by sharing my expertise, that I might end up failing, and through failure I might end up losing everything. It's perfectly normal to feel this failure and to feel this fear, but don't let yourself be held back by it. Take it, be concise with what exactly are you feeling, and be honest with why you are feeling that way. It's not strange, but you need to name the feeling to be able to actually deal with the feeling and be able to create the content that you want to create. Number 2 is cognitive load and overwhelm. I'm going to put the name of the theory here, but basically when we have a lot of things to do, i.e. mental tasks that we're dealing with, it might feel too hard for us to put more tasks on top or to deal with anything because the cognitive load is too high. This means that for you, if you're already dealing with a lot of things, and let's be real, for most people, especially from where we're from, I know in Zimbabwe, we're thinking about where we're getting water the next day. Where's electricity coming from? If you're going to have to make a fire to cook, or are you waiting for 10 p.m. for electricity to come so that you can cook or work? When are you going to have access to the internet so that you can actually submit that project? And this is before we even have to think about doing the project, creating the content, or all the other millions of tasks that you have to do to actually start. Be very accommodating with yourself. You're dealing with a lot. And procrastination isn't just you avoiding a task because you're lazy. You're not. You genuinely have a lot of things in your mind. Start by writing these down. Physically see in front of you the number of things you have to do every week, every day. These are normal things. I understand. Sure, other people have to look for water or think about food, but write those things down. Share with your family. What is the cognitive load that's on everyone's plate? How can you share it? How can you help each other? And let them know what your goals are. Let them teach you what their goals are and see where you can meet each other halfway. When things are written down for us mentally, it's a lot easier to deal with because now we've named it. Now we can tick it off lists. I talked about why those are important. And most of all, it doesn't seem as heavy when we know exactly what needs to be done and we actually assign time for those things to be done, because otherwise you continue to push it off until tomorrow and deal with the little tasks that you can today. Again, it's nothing to be ashamed of. You're genuinely dealing with a lot. Number 3 is emotional regulation and stress overall. I've already talked about the many things that a lot of us have on our plate on a daily basis, and we don't really consider those things stress. But when you're having to mentally calculate what rate that you need to buy groceries with versus what rate you need to pay rent with versus what rate that you're going to be paid at work with or take from the bank or buy petrol with, or literally the long list of things you're doing every single day, sometimes adding a new thing to it can actually cause you anxiety and depression and very real emotions that you might not be able to regulate. So emotion regulation issues can really be tied to not being able to regulate all those ranges of emotions you're going through every single day, especially when they're tied to a task that you might be scared to start because you have no idea if it's going to work. So if you want to be a creator, also think about those emotions that you're feeling every single day. A part of being a successful YouTube creator, which you'll see in my strategy, is I have a space where I talk about how I want my audience to feel. I not only want my audience to feel inspired, I also want them to feel understood. I want them to know that I'm literally in your place. I've faced the same challenges as you. And this ties back to not speaking to everyone. Not everyone can relate to my very specific life journey. I have borderline personality disorder. I have anxiety. I have depression. I've dealt with poverty. I've dealt with the very normal middle class life that still kind of feels like poverty that is Zimbabwe, and I'm working through it. So when I'm becoming a content creator, it looks very different to the image of all of the make $1 million in 2 days and $100,000 in 3 days content, because that is not my story. I haven't figured out how to make $1 million, but what I can teach you is to use the skills to at least get out of the basement and get to living a very quite nice life and make the content that you want to make. That's my story, that's what my channel is about, and that's what this journey is gonna be about. So for the next 3 months, I will be undertaking this journey of building a YouTube channel out here in public, telling you the statistics, exactly how it's going, and sharing with you all if I ever feel like I can't do it, which I do most days, as well as the hope, the faith that somehow I can. And I welcome you again to share your experiences, how you feel, and if you ever need any help, do DM me on my Instagram or my LinkedIn, and let's get to creating. You never know the changes you can make in 90 days, and this is my call out to you to start your journey today.